Hi, today I'm reviewing the Inkey List Peptide Moisturizer. And really quick, I just want to say I purchase all these products with my own money. I'll never waste your time with sponsored ads or videos, so if you want to help support the channel, check out nobsbeauty.com, check my Patreon community, or click on the link below. Okay, so this is what I've been meaning to do for forever, and I was casually reminded of it. I thought, oh yes, I got to do that one. Finally. So, I really want to give this one a good try before I did my review on it, because the Inkey List products sometimes, for me, require a little bit more use because they're a little bit, I don't know, they're just a little bit different than a lot of other products, and this one has an interesting ingredient list, but I really want to give it a little bit extra time to see, because sometimes with peptides and things, you don't really notice right away beneficial impacts of them. So I've certainly given this one a lot of time, thought, and concern. So, okay, they call this a nurturing yet fast-absorbing daily moisturizer with a peptide duo. Duo meaning two peptides that help support natural collagen and hydrate skin. They recommend it for people with dry skin, skin concerns, fine lines and wrinkles, dryness, loss of firmness, loss of elasticity. It's a rich cream, 2% Royal Epigen, P5%. Nurtures skin to help decrease the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and a 1% hydrating peptide solution, which means those peptides make up 1% of 100%, which is not a lot, that support your skin's moisture barrier for visibly radiant skin. Okay, my first criteria is packaging. I love their packaging. They did a great job. The Inkey List, especially with a lot of these ordinary dupe brands, which the Inkey List kind of one, even though their price is a little bit over what most of the ordinaries are, they have always done a great job with their packaging. And I love their packaging for this. A great airless jar. Bravo. They did a great job with that. Although, for the most part, the ingredient list, I'll get there in a second. Okay, in terms of denatured or drying types of alcohol, I found that this does contain two different types of alcohol, which are not fatty types of alcohol. They're typically used as preservatives and can be less sensitizing than other preservatives. However, they do have the potential to irritate sensitive skin, and they also give off a very, very light fragrance. And those are benzyl alcohol and phenethyl alcohol. The very first time I used this, I did notice a very, very, very light scent to it. But I looked and there wasn't any fragrance, so I didn't think much of it until I kept testing it. I'm like, there is some type of fragrance in here. I just have to figure out what it is. And then when I sat down to do this, it makes sense. Because benzyl and phenethyl alcohol both are used as preservatives, but they are also sometimes used as fragrance. Most people won't have any issues with them, but it is important to note that they are in there, and for some sensitive skin can be problematic. So I took a point out for that. When I get to the fragrance criteria, I did not take a point out for that because I already took a point out for those two ingredients. So I didn't want to doubly charge them or whatever. Doubly whatever. So the two alcohol ingredients do give it a very light, very, very light scent. Almost like a light vanilla peach fruit type scent. Which is barely noticeable, except for the most of distinguished or sensitive noses. So most people will use this and probably not notice any scent, except for me, because my nose is special, I guess. I don't know. So I didn't charge them for that, but those two ingredients will be fine for most people, but not everybody. So the manufacturing location for this one is the UK, so no issues with that. Ease of use, so pump the press down. When you first get it, you'll probably have to prime the pump by pressing it a few times. Anyway, so ease of use, very nice texture to it, very light, smooths over skin, nicely absorbs pretty quickly, plays well with other products. You don't need to use a ton of this because a little bit does go a long way. Yeah, so absorbs quickly, no issues with pilling. I've been able to use it under sunscreens and products like that without any issues. I do recommend avoiding the eye area with this one. A lot of moisturizers you can certainly use around your eye area without any issues, but because of those two types of alcohol, your eye area is pretty sensitive, so I just recommend avoiding that. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to use. And then I'll talk about this with the drunk elephant in a moment. Okay, So my favorite criteria is the sixth one, which is antioxidants and beneficial ingredients. Okay, so the first 6 ingredients of this product are all slip ingredients, which hydrate the skin but don't do much else in the long run. Then we've got betaine, which is a good moisturizer and humectant from amino acid-derived beets. And then after that, we shortly have phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative, and phenoxyethanol in cosmetic products cannot be used at a concentration of higher than 1%. So when you see phenoxyethanol in an ingredient list, everything underneath it is going to be less than 1%, which means there's not much of it. So we've got slip ingredients, a little bit of betaine, then phenoxyethanol, and then everything else, not too much. So we've got shea butter in there, which is a good moisturizer and antioxidant. We've got sodium gluconate, which is a good humectant. Vitamin E, a good antioxidant and hydrating ingredient. Then towards the very, very end of the ingredient list, we see the 2 peptides. Actually, we've got acetylhexapeptide 37, then we've got maltodextrin, and then pentapeptide 48. Those are the last 3 ingredients. So you're not getting a lot. Some people will say, well, yeah, but some ingredients, you don't want a high percentage of them in a product. And I get that. However, 1% or less than 1% is still not a lot. And peptides can be used a little bit higher up on the ingredient list. I think that's why the Drunk Elephant did a great job with their Proteini. They've got lots of good ingredients scattered throughout the entire ingredient list here. And a lot of people will say this is an affordable dupe for the Proteini. In my opinion, they are so different, these 2 products. Even though they've got kind of a same name, Peptide Moisturizer, they couldn't be further from the 2. They're just so different. The ingredients, the peptides, everything. They're just totally different products all the way around. I'll have to do a versus. So, anyway, so you're not getting an impressive amount of peptides, especially for them naming this a peptide moisturizer and then only having 2 peptides in there, the last 3 ingredients in here. Disappointing. Kind of misleading as well. At least when you see the Inkey list niacinamide serum, niacinamide's up on the ingredient list. It's not the very last ingredient. I think they should have just called this a moisturizer, in my opinion. Because I think calling a peptide moisturizer is a bit misleading because people do make comparisons to Drunk Elephant, and they're really 2 different products. So, overall, not too impressed with the ingredient list. Okay. My 7th criteria is animal testing, and this is vegan and cruelty-free, so that's always a good thing. Performance, it does do a nice job leaving your skin feeling hydrated when applied. I will say that sometimes, like when I use the Drunk Elephant Proteini, I'll use it at night. I still wake up and my skin feels hydrated. I don't have the same effect with the Inkey List moisturizer. I apply it, but by the time I wake up, my skin doesn't feel as hydrated as it does on days when I use the Proteini. So it still is hydrating and probably will be everything someone with normal oily skin needs. Those with drier skin might want to mix in other serums before it or an oil somewhere because it just isn't as hydrating as most people with very dry skin will need. And it does contain a few acneogenic ingredients. We've got Cetearyl alcohol, Glyceryl, Stearate, Butylene, Glycol, and Carbomer. So a few, not a whole ton, but a few. Then we get to the price. So this is a full size, which is 1.7 ounces, which is the same as the Proteini, also 50 milliliters, and retails for $15. So if you're somebody that's younger or might not have as much anti-aging needs, there's nothing wrong with the Inkey List. But for somebody with very sensitive skin or skin issues or fine lines or wrinkles, you might need something with a little bit more robust formula. But for somebody that might be younger, that doesn't need a whole ton of peptides and things like that, there's nothing wrong with it. So then we get to the it factor. Love the price, love the packaging, love the fact that it's cruelty-free. The formula is not the most impressive. It does have a few irritating alcohols, potentially irritating alcohols, because they're not always going to be irritating for everybody. But I think I might have reviewed this one a little bit better had I not been comparing it to the Proteini in the back of my head. Overall, it's a basic moisturizer, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I think they could have done a little bit to make it a lot better pretty easily. But overall, this is what we've got. So with a 10 being a perfect score, I gave it a 7. So nothing wrong with that. It just isn't the proteiny. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I'm interested in hearing from you guys if you've had a chance to try it and what your thoughts are. So leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. And stay tuned for more tomorrow. Thank you so much.